Okay, so I don't know where to start right now, but I'm just gonna say this. What this whole thing is gonna be, since this is the start, what this whole thing is gonna be like, this is just gonna be like, I know how much all of you love Tails. I know how much all of you love Sonic.exe, obviously. I know how much I hate Fatal Fog. So I thought, why don't, since things are hard to put up, why don't I make something that I can put up really quick that could work? And the reason why you're seeing a dark screen of nothing is because this is something where I make things up in my head. Like, I make a whole story up in my head, and this is the start of the story. It's going to be like a whole series that I can just make up over and over as time goes on. This is basically what this whole thing is. So, yeah, that's why you're seeing a dark screen. This is probably something you could just like listen to one day. And yeah, okay. So let's start. So, it all starts one day. All day, one day, when there was this one little fox. His name was Miles Prower. Well, people love to call him Tails. He was born and raised in a playground where he spent most of his days until a couple of guys who were up to no good started causing trouble in his forest. He got into one little fight, and his parents got scared, and he had to move over to Green Hill Zone, where he met his old friend. Well, he'd like to call him his old friend. He thought it was old friend, but it turns out it was Sonic.exe, because I know how much y'all love him. Now remember, this was like Tails was, let's say, 4 years old at the time. He was still a kid. He didn't know too much. His IQ was around 200 at the time. So he meets up with Sonic.exe when he was 4 years old. And of course, Sonic.exe, being the little demon that he is, he harasses Tails all around, takes him in the freaking hide and seek. But this time it's different. God, my voice is weird. This time Tails gets away. He gets away from Sonic.exe. He runs around and he gets away. Sonic can't catch him. He's just that good. He's just that good. Sonic can't catch him. He flies away. And then, let's say, a week later, he finds out that Knuckles and Eggman gets possessed by Sonic.exe because obviously they died. And Tails is the only survivor. He's the only one who can fight Sonic.exe. He's the only one left. So he flies over to find Sonic.exe. It's the only thing left in his mind. I gotta find this boy. So he flies around, but he can't find him. But where he does end up is this really foggy place. In said foggy place, he got his ass whooped. And I'm sorry for that loud sound, but he got his ass whooped hard. Oh boy, he didn't even see what was coming. He got knocked out, but when he got knocked out, he surprisingly woke up and he wasn't possessed. He woke up in a little shack. He didn't know where he was, what he was doing, but he woke up in a shack. He didn't know who took him there. He didn't know what happened. All he remembered was a foggy place and him getting his ass whooped. But he was still alive. He turns to the left, turns to the right. All he saw was a little candle, his weird little mattress he was sitting in, and a sandwich. And then he finds the man who took him there. That man was none other than Mighty. Mighty swooped out of nowhere just before Sonic.exe could deliver the final blow and took him. And kept him there. Mighty explained to Tails everything. He explained what Sonic.exe was doing and how Tails just was all messed up. He tells Tails that, well, his tails are broken. And to Tails' shock, he was right. He saw 2 casts on his tails and he couldn't even move them without him wincing in pain. So Tails just sits there, wondering what to do next. He asks Mighty, what do we do now? He says people are already trying to figure out how to deal with Sonic.exe, but he keeps losing them in this weird... He said he keeps losing all his friends in this weird foggy place. All he remembers was them walking in and never coming back. Tails sits there and wonder what he's gonna do. They all sit there and wonder what they're gonna do. They don't know what's gonna come next. They don't know how to deal with Sonic in that foggy place. They look out the window, and all they see is that foggy place. It wasn't close. It was pretty far, but it was there, just sitting there menacingly. Almost like it was the beginning of the end. Tails didn't know what to do next, nor did Mighty. They just saw the foggy place. They saw two little red dots peeking at them, and a small giggle. And a chuckle. A small little chuckle. What comes next? Oh, I don't know. Let's see, where should we go next? Mighty and Tails run for their lives. Obviously, they're all scared. They don't want to get near that foggy place. They're not ready for it. They run and run until they end up on Angel Island Zone. How'd they get there? I don't know. They ran that far. The Master Emerald was taken. That's why it was on the floor. Or on the water, I should say. They ran to their heart's content, and surprisingly enough, they didn't even notice they were running on water. They wondered where the Master Emerald was, but Tails obviously drew the conclusion. Master Emerald was gone. So, they look around Angel Island. And all they see was just some trees cut down. No fog, but just a lot of trees cut down. A lot of trees cut down. They wondered who cut down all the trees, and then they saw Vector with an axe. Don't worry, the axe wasn't bloody. Vector was still fine. He asked Vector what he was doing, and he said, "Oh, I needed paper." He asked him why he needed paper, and he says, "I just need paper." They asked him again why he needed paper. He's like, "Okay, I'm trying to give Sonic a paper cut." They asked him why do you want to give Sonic a paper cut. He said, "Because I think paper is his weakness." They asked him what it made him think that, and he said, "I remember tossing fog into the paper, but when the paper came back, there was something written on it, and it said, 'I don't like paper.'" Tails, did a facepalm. Mighty, he didn't even know what to say about it. And then Charmy flew by and flew away, because why not? We have to have Charmy in here somehow. So Vector just continued cutting down trees trying to get paper, because he needed paper. He wanted to get as much paper as he could. Tails went over to a rock and just sat down. He started to think how all of this could have happened. Until out of the shadows came Shadow. See what I did there? He said he knew the beginning of everything. He knew how all of this started. Tails asked Shadow, how? And he said, because I was there. I was there when it all happened. I couldn't stop it, but I was there. So Tails sat down right next to Shadow. And Shadow started to explain everything. And that's where I'm going to end it off. I'm going to end it off on a cliffhanger because I can. Okay. Well, that was fun. I swear, I'm not reading any of this off of paper. This is all off the top of my head. That's the point of all this. I just read all of this off the top of my head. Okay, well that's it. Alright, see you guys at part 2, I guess.